had always thought our relationship was solid. We had shared years of laughter, late-night conversations, and dreams that felt intertwined. But over the past few months, something had shifted. Sarah, the woman I loved, had started calling me needy, rolling her eyes when I asked about plans, dismissing my concerns about little things that once mattered to both of us. I tried to brush it off, thinking it was just stress, work, or maybe a phase. Then came the night that changed everything. I had prepared a quiet dinner at our apartment, candles lit, soft music playing, hoping to reconnect, to remind her of us. But when I reached out, expecting a smile or even a touch, she recoiled and said coldly, "Stop being so needy. Just leave me alone. Go entertain yourself somewhere else." Her words cut deeper than any argument I had ever had with her. I felt a mix of humiliation and heartbreak, but beneath it was a slow-burning anger I couldn't ignore. For the first time, I realized that pushing me away wasn't about neediness. It was about something else entirely, something she had been hiding. I left that night without confrontation, trying to calm my mind, but the next day, I started noticing small clues. A text on her phone that disappeared when I glanced at it, a strange fragrance on her clothes, late-night messages she pretended were work-related. My trust had been eroded slowly, almost imperceptibly, and now the cracks were wide enough to see through. I decided to act. Not with violence, not with anger, but with precision. If she thought she could push me away, belittle me, and betray me without consequences, she was gravely mistaken. First, I gathered evidence. Photos, messages, and emails, all pointing to a relationship she had been hiding. A colleague, late-night meetings she claimed were extra work hours, and the unmistakable pattern of deceit. Every piece of the puzzle fit together, revealing the betrayal she had so carefully concealed. Next, I planned my response. Not publicly, not hastily, but with calculated care. She had tried to humiliate me, to diminish my presence in her life. I would show her exactly what betrayal felt like. The sudden, undeniable absence of trust, the shock of realizing someone you love is no longer who you thought they were. I started small. I withdrew from conversations, stopped responding immediately, and created a distance that mimicked the emotional coldness she had shown me. When she called or texted, I answered briefly, detached. The confusion in her eyes when I mirrored her own behavior back to her was palpable. Then the ultimate reveal. I invited her to meet under the guise of a reconciliation dinner. She arrived, smiling, expecting perhaps an apology, an embrace, or reassurance. Instead, I laid out everything. Evidence of her hidden affairs, the messages she thought I hadn't seen, the calls she believed I had ignored. Her expression shifted from confidence to disbelief, to panic, and finally to realization. The woman who had dismissed my feelings, mocked my concern, and labeled me needy, now faced the stark truth. She had underestimated me. She had underestimated the depth of my patience, the precision of my observation, and the force of my resolve. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I let the evidence speak for itself. Every text, every photo, every hidden detail, laid bare on the table, undeniable. The betrayal that had been hidden for months was now exposed, and there was no escape. I didn't think you knew," she stammered, her voice faltering, trying to grasp for excuses, explanations, any lifeline. "You should have thought about that before pushing me away," I said, calm but firm. "You labeled me needy, dismissed my feelings, and now you see what it feels like to be blindsided." For a moment, silence hung between us. Then came her tears, apologies spilling in a rush, but I had already made my decision. The trust was gone, shattered beyond repair, and no words could rebuild what had been destroyed. I stood, leaving the apartment, my heart heavy but my resolve unbroken. She had tried to manipulate, belittle, and betray, and now she had been confronted with the consequences of her own actions. She would remember this lesson. The pain of betrayal mirrored, the shock of realization, and the emptiness of losing someone who had loved her truly. As I walked away, I felt a strange sense of liberation. Betrayal had been revealed, truth had been spoken, and I had reclaimed my dignity. The woman who had once called me needy now understood, too late, the depth of loyalty she had squandered. That night, alone, I finally allowed myself to breathe. The anger remained, but it was tempered by clarity. I had shown her exactly what betrayal meant. Not in words, not in rage, but in truth. And sometimes, the most powerful revenge is simply the unwavering presence of reality, confronting those who try to hide from it.